If I could extend that analogy out, where it may not be the piece of content that gets attached to the email that requests the next meeting and work that way, but it is doing the job to create the right impression and awareness and consideration and evaluation along the way. Are you working with sales side by side in marketing through those buyer journeys in addition to their outreaches? Because that tends to be true at the beginning stages. But then we tend to have in the marketing world a baton pass. And now it's up to you. I don't want to get in the way of your sales process and what you're working and how you're working with them. But the need to surround that audience and all the members of the buying committee that we're trying to influence, it doesn't stop because they went from awareness to consideration or consideration to evaluation. How do you think about that?
Yeah, so that is something we've spent a lot of this past year leaning into. It was very black and white. Marketing is only focused on net new customer opportunities. And as soon as the opportunity, or even that first meeting, as soon as that first meeting happens, we hand you the baton and we move on. That's now a contact, that's now an opportunity. We don't touch it, we don't see it. Where that started to break down, and what I was most excited about when we launched ABM is that we changed the way in which we set KPIs for each go-to-market team. Instead of marketing having a sourced pipeline at an opportunity goal, and then sales then having the full bookings objective, we broke that down and we said, okay, nobody is winning until we all hit the pipeline and bookings objectives that we need in these segments. We have a shared number now. And as soon as we had that shared number, lo and behold, the marketing team is starting to realize, wait, what's going on with these opportunities? Why am I not seeing all of these become bookings? They go into the opportunity and they realize, wow, there's a trend here where some of these specific personas are getting stuck in early stage opportunities. That's where things like maybe we're sending them over too soon start to happen. And it changes the way in which we do lead scoring and the way in which we create content. In some other areas, it's, boy, we might need to increase our differentiation messaging here, or maybe there's a lack of urgency here for some reason. Suddenly, because the way we're measured is now on bookings and we have that shared objective, the marketing organization is crossing that boundary. Things we've done, for example, are setting up an open opportunity nurture sequence to specifically drive urgency in early stage opportunities. Other things are just creating more awareness and thought leadership. So we have an annual report we create inside the mind of a CISO, sending those out to people who are in early stages. We had people exploring a certain product and we did a direct mailer to just give, thanks for exploring this with us. We're looking forward to having a conversation. And just having those additional touch points, keeping us in their mind and looking like a good partner. Thought leadership, yeah, it may not be the thing that makes them call us and say, you know what, we're going to do this deal, but it does give them a sense of confidence that we're a better partner, and that sticks with people and it makes those opportunities progress at a faster rate. We have a lot to go there and a lot more to explore, but the early stages of us exploring that, hey, let's cross over the aisle and start helping you with your open ops. Let's talk together about what needs to happen for these things to close. And here's all the ways we can help you might not have thought of yet. That's really starting to unlock progression of early opportunities. And we're excited to see where that goes. But we are exploring that and it's been productive so far.
I think that is the biggest opportunity that CMOs have, is to get more involved in existing opportunities. As soon as it is inside a Salesforce or HubSpot or whatever you're using, as it's labeled an opportunity, that's usually where we do this. But the idea, the very foundations of nurturing a lead through the entire process, we know intuitively that makes sense. It is internal boundaries and alignments that keep us from doing that. I ask every C-suite executive that comes onto this podcast what they think their top two greatest challenges are to creating long-term sustainable growth. By far, the number one is internal alignment. It's based on a lot of different things, territorial issues, political issues, short-term versus long-term balance, but we end up working in silos. We don't treat ABM as a team sport. You don't sideline members of the team just because you got to a certain part of the game. And that's my takeaway. by the way, from our whole conversation here today.
Yeah. I mean, I was honestly just sick of seeing any one team patting themselves on the back when the whole team wasn't winning predictably and consistently. That's a hard conversation. Like you said, people are protective of traditional ways of doing things. And honestly, I think the biggest unlock is the way in which we as a leadership team decide to measure team performance. If you have the objective shared, and frankly, and it's what you're talking about as a sales leader, what's our shared number? How are we doing this together? You'd be surprised what people figure out how to do on their own and the impact it can have.